All right, so this whole slope thing, which is what we've been talking about the majority of this unit, and we've talked about all the different uses for slope. So we talked about it as a rate of change to see if relations are linear or not, and to find equations of linear relations. We also use slope to find out how fast something changes, or whether it's a positive or negative change. And graphs went along with that. And then last week we talked about how we use slope to measure the steepness of objects. We can also use slope to convert units. Converting units is a valuable skill to have. Okay, so I just want to look at a few examples and show you a way. Sometimes it's pretty easy to convert units. Sometimes it's a little harder because you don't know whether to multiply or divide. Like if I said, how many centimeters in 5 meters? Knowing that there's 100 centimeters in a meter. 500? Yeah. Okay. Or if I said, how many meters in 2 kilometers? All right, all right. I mean, 2,000. Like some of them are kind of pretty obvious. But if I said, how many kilometers are? All right. No. You would have gotten them. You would have gotten them. Yes, you. Okay, fine. I'm going to ask you a question and you a question alone. How many hours in 2 days?
I got this.
Yes, you do. There you go. See? Stop it. But there's a way that we can always multiply to convert units, because sometimes it's not so easy, especially if I said, like, how many meters are in 15 millimeters? You got to do some dividing there. It's not as obvious to see. Okay, but there is a way that we can always multiply so that we can convert. So let's just, the first couple of questions is just a review of what we've been doing with slope, and then we'll talk about converting. Okay. All right. So here we've got a graph, distance Caius walks over time in seconds. How would I find the slope of the graph? What would I do? This is something that you should know how to do. Rise over run, which means we need a couple of points. Give me a point on here that you can easily read. 10, 16. Another one, because we need 2. 0, 0, sure. So yes, slope is rise over run, or vertical change over horizontal change. So vertical change over horizontal change. And to find that, subtract the bigger y by the smaller y. Or sorry, subtract, I shouldn't say bigger by smaller. Subtract the higher y by the lower y, 16 minus 0. Divide that by the higher x minus the lower x, 10 minus 0. And you get 16 divided by 10, which is 1.6. So you guys should be familiar with how to calculate that. Yes. Yeah, if you left it as a fraction, I'd still give it to you. But actually, because, like I said, in pre-calculus, we would calculate the slope and then stop here. Usually, we never talked about what it meant. All the questions we've been doing in this course, the slope has had some kind of meaning. You don't just find it and stop. Whereas in grade 10, applied in pre-cal, you did exactly that.
That's why the meaning takes me a second.
Yes, because you're not used to it.
slope, I don't think I just spoke from like,
Right, because, yeah, because in grade 10 applied in pre-calc, you learned a formula for it, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Somebody asked you to find the slope, you did it, and you stopped when you got the number. And now we're doing it actually, you know, all the questions we're doing it has meaning. And speaking of which, what does this mean, 1.6?
how long do they, walks 1.6 meters in a second?
In a second.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I think
that's okay. But you're both right. You combine, we'll just combine the two. He walks 1.6 meters per second. Now, what if I wanted to convert that to how fast he walks? Okay. Yes, you can multiply by 60 and you get that. I'm going to show you, that's what we'll do. So we can do something called unit analysis. Where we use conversion factors. What? Okay. Okay. So we're dealing with converting between seconds and minutes. There's two ways you can write that. 60 seconds is the same as 1 minute, or 1 minute is the same as 60 seconds. Those being the same thing. Oh, I'm glad, I'm happy. Okay, so I want to convert 1.6 meters per 1 second I want to convert from this to minutes. I'm always going to multiply. The one that you pick is the one that has the units diagonally that you can cancel.
Yes.
So I'm going to take this one, 60 seconds per 1 minute. Why? Because I can cancel those out. That's the one that you choose so that you can cancel. And what's the units that you're left with? Meters per minute, which is what you want. So all you do is go 1.6 times 60 over 1 times 1, which is just 1. And that'll give you your answer, which works out to, 96. 96 meters per 1 minute. So when you convert, you always multiply. But the conversion factor you multiply by, you have to choose it so that you can cancel the units that you want to cancel diagonally. I wanted to cancel out the seconds because I want to be left with the minutes. Sometimes you may have to do more than one, like we'll see in a second. So there's one example. Let's look at a couple more. Sergio is negotiating his allowance with his parents for doing work around the house. He would like $10 an hour. His dad thinks 15 cents per minute is more reasonable since he doesn't spend very much time doing his chores. Which is the better deal? So $10 per 1 hour or 15 cents per 1 minute. What I've got to do is I've got to convert from one of these units to the other in order to compare them. So why don't we take the 15 cents per minute and change that to hours? And then we'll compare it with what Sergio is offering. So I want to change 15 cents per minute so that I eventually get dollars per hour. It doesn't matter what we convert first. You want to convert cents, we got to convert cents to dollars, and we got to convert minutes to hours. It doesn't matter which one you do first. So let's do, how many minutes in an hour? 60. Now, should I write it 60 minutes over 1 or 1 over 60 minutes? Remember, I want to cancel out the minutes. 60 minutes per 1 hour. So I can cancel out the minutes. Now I want to convert the cents to dollars. So I want to multiply again. I want to have the cents. There's 100 cents in $1, yes? And I want to do $1 over 100 because I want to cancel out the cents, because the units I want left are dollars per hour. So how do I find it? I've got to do 15 times 60 times 1 divided by 1 times 100. And that will give me my answer. Yes, but sometimes that's hard to see. If you see it, go with it. But sometimes it's hard to, like I said, sometimes it's obvious that you're going to multiply something. Sometimes it's a little obvious you may divide something. Sometimes it's not so obvious, which is why I'm showing you this method. But clearly you see how you can get from one to the other. Okay. So when we do this, what do we get? We get $900, $9 per hour. So Sergio's offer is better, because when we changed his dad's offer to dollars per hour, it only worked out to 9, whereas Sergio is offering 10. Is better for him, I should say. Not necessarily better for his dad, although it's only $1. Okay, the last one. Maruna is driving from Brandon to Dauphin. Speed limit on the stretch of highway is 90 kilometers an hour. According to her GPS, her driving speed is 30 meters per second. Is she speeding? Now you would think if you had a good GPS, it would probably tell you kilometers per hour. But the whole idea is to try and convert. So we need to convert 30 meters per 1 second all the way to kilometers per 1 hour. So we're going to have to do some multiplying. So I need to convert seconds to hours and meters to kilometers. Let's do the meters to kilometers first. How many meters in a kilometer? 1,000. Should I put 1 over 1,000 or 1,000 over 1? I want to cancel out the meters. Should I put 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters or 1,000 meters over 1 kilometer? Good. So why did we do that? Because we can cancel out the, sorry, that should be meters. Because we can cancel out the meters and we'll be left with kilometers. So after I do this, I've got kilometers per second. Now I just got to figure out what to multiply, and good. Multiply by what you want to cancel up top this time, right? How many seconds, this is a little bit trickier. How many seconds in an hour? How many seconds in a minute? How many seconds in a minute? 60. How many minutes in an hour? 60. So 60 times 60, 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 3,600 seconds up top here because I can cancel. And I'm going to put the 1 hour down here. So notice, look at the units I have left. Kilometers per hour. So what do I do in this case? 30 times 1 times 3,600. Divide 1 times 1,000 times 1. And that will get me my answer. And it should work out to, when you do it, 108 kilometers per hour. So she is speeding. Because the GPS says 30 meters per second. We converted that to 108 kilometers per hour, which is 18 over the speed limit. And I'll